Ouch. Oh, hi. This is Austin Wilson with Hixon Zuercher Capital Management, here to provide you a fireside chat for your January 2020 market update. But first, I'd like to tell you about my January New Year's resolution. And that New Year's resolution is to laugh at myself more. That's one. There we go. All right, Austin, got one for you. What award did they give to the guy who invented door knockers? Door knockers. I don't know. The Nobel Prize. Nobel. Get it? Nobel Prize? Nobel Prize. Gotcha. That's not that funny. All right, Austin, I got another one for you. Where do you go to make dessert? I don't know. I don't really eat a lot of dessert. How about Cold Stone? No. Sunday school! No. All right, Austin, I got a good one for you. Where is the best place to buy broth? I don't know, Austin. At the stock market. Oh, gross. Yep. I'm done. The stock market. In this month's video, we're going to discuss what happened in December and then talk about the 2010s, the decade in review as a whole. So overall, stocks were up in December as investors showed optimism thanks largely to a Phase 1 trade deal being signed between the US and China towards the end of the month. So overall, the NASDAQ composite was up nearly 4% in the month of December, while the S&P was up about 3% and the Dow was up about 2%. Including dividends, for the year the S&P 500 returned around 31%, while the Dow and the NASDAQ returned around 25 and 39% respectively. So a really good year from stock market performance perspective. This impressive stock market performance was spurred on by the Federal Reserve this year as they took a more dovish stance, and that dovish stance really led to more easy monetary policy where borrowing costs were cheap. The fact that borrowing costs are cheap and the consumer is really strong really set up the ability for this expansion to continue in the Fed's mind. They've indicated they're going to be on pause for a while unless things materially change, so that's something we're going to be watching. Over the last decade, the S&P 500 had no bear markets, and that's really when the stock market or the S&P 500 itself is down more than 20% off of its highs. It only had a few 10% drawdowns, with the most recent being at the end of 2018, where it was actually down about 19.8%, so very close, but no actual bear markets. This is actually very impressive considering that the decade prior, we were coming out of the 08-09 financial crisis around the world, and stocks were really sold off sharply. So really good performance for the quarter, or not for the quarter, really strong performance for the decade. That was very impressive considering especially where we started in 08-09. The total returns for the last decade actually saw very impressive numbers. The S&P 500 and the Dow were each up over 250% for total returns for the decade, and the tech-heavy NASDAQ, which kind of has been the bellwether for the overall market, really took off and was returning over 400% over that decade. So very, very strong performance in our largely, technology-driven economy that we see right now. So the short-term economic outlook really can't be talked about without mentioning the SECURE Act that was passed at the end of 2019. And SECURE stands for Setting Every Community Up for Retirement Enhancement. And this occurred right at the end of last year. And this new law, it really alters some key rules pertaining to traditional retirement accounts. So one, it raises the age for required minimum distributions, or RMDs, from 70 and a half to 72. So that's actually a good thing, but there's a couple other caveats that might offset some of those favorable things for investors, and those are things we're going to be watching in 2020 as more details come out about that act specifically. Once again, this is Austin Wilson with Hixon Zuercher Capital Management, providing you the January market update where we're talking about December and the last decade, which just wrapped up. Please remember, nothing we talked about here is a recommendation, but if you'd like to talk about your financial situation or if you have any questions, please give us a call at 419-425-2400. Thanks, and have a great new year.
Welcome to the Invested Dads podcast. Simplifying
Hey Austin, what you doing?
can take action.
Hey Josh. How's it going? Yeah, I just listened to the Invested Dads podcast. Just launched on January 9th. 3 episodes out there. People should probably listen. It's pretty good. They can check it out at theinvesteddads.com or on their favorite podcast player. We'd love it if they'd subscribe.